Sao Paulo.
Fernando Rodriguez has left the office, but he is still tethered to his BlackBerry like he is 7 days a week.
After I leave the office, I usually try to go to the gym that is across the street. I go walking and still answering some emails.
Rodriguez is part of what might be called Brazil's globalization generation. He works for an international company with colleagues in many time zones. In order to get ahead, he never stops, and neither does his inbox. Even in bed late at night before going to sleep, he says he often discreetly peeks at his BlackBerry while his fiancée isn't watching.
When she's brushing her teeth, I try to answer the email quite fast and have a quick look at it. And when she's back, I just stick it under the pillow.
New legislation that's being proposed says responding to work emails or even making or receiving work phone calls outside of office hours is work and could be considered as overtime hours. It's part of the increasingly understood but not openly expressed belief in business these days that has reached the fast-growing Brazilian business world. While the lights might turn off when one leaves the office, the work doesn't.
There are about 19 million smartphone users here in Brazil. They only account for about 10% of the total cell phone market here. But the number of Brazilians buying smartphones is increasing by about 150% a year. That means every day, more and more people in this country are potentially connected to their office after business hours.
However, experts say implementing the law could be a problem.
It is complex. The easiest way would be for companies to cut access to email or company cell phones or anything that will make a person work from home. This is the most radical way to implement the law, and some companies are already doing this for fear of lawsuits.
For Rodriguez and people like him, they'll probably continue using their smartphones for work after hours, but now at least they'll possibly get paid for it. Gabriel Azando, Al Jazeera, Sao Paulo.
Well, let's take a good look at this. We're all aware that maintaining a work-life balance can be tough. But the demands placed on people has now led to a new category of employee called the networked worker. The Pew Internet and American Life Project says this is how you'll know if you're part of this growing group. 93% of people in this category own a cell phone, 85% own a desktop computer, 61% own a laptop computer, 27% own a BlackBerry, a Palm or other personal digital assistant. And if you've been ticking away at all those categories, you'll be interested to meet our guest. Nicole van Hatten is Director of the Art of Abundant Living, joins us live here in the studio in Doha. Welcome to the program, good to see you here.
Thank you very much.
It's just a fact of life, isn't it, that more and more people are taking their work home with them?
It is, and modern technology is making it possible to have the kind of work style that we would really prefer to have, rather than being stuck behind a desk.
But not everybody wants to take their work home, do they? It's just because you kind of feel that you need to, because it's there and you're accessible. Your boss can phone you up at any point in time. It's just more and more invasive into your private life, isn't it?
Potentially more invasive. I think it's very much up to the person who's in that situation to make a reasonable choice. What's going to work for them? What's going to work for their career, their family, their industry, the stage in which their industry or their company currently is in, whether it's in a boom or a bust, in a grow or a shrink phase.
I suppose a lot of people would say that they don't have any choice, because if they want to keep their jobs, especially in these precarious times, that you have to be able to answer calls or check your emails at any point in time.
Potentially, yes. Potentially that may be the case. And this is something that we work with quite a lot with the leaders in an organisation, to get them to understand what's going to work best for their organisation, what's going to make their employees more productive, not necessarily more harassed and working longer hours, but more productive, which may be using your technology to work outside work hours, or it may be being more efficient and getting more done with your technology in office hours, but really working out what works for the individual.
So on that basis, this new Brazilian law that says that if you answering your phone at home or doing emails from home, that you could claim overtime is a good thing.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that you're getting compensated for the effort that you're putting in. I do believe, however, they need to look at the productivity and the effectiveness during the work hours.
Okay, and so the funny thing is that, you know, all those years ago we had the Industrial Revolution that was supposed to make life and work easier for everybody concerned, but it's getting more and more difficult, and it's only going to get worse in a sense, isn't it, as technology improves?
Personally, I think it used to be very difficult or very hard, and we worked long hours, we worked very laborious physical labour jobs. Now life is very complicated, and it takes wise people to take a step back, have a look at the overall balance and see what's going to work for them. It may be more productive to work at 6 o'clock at night if that's the time that you really do perform. It may not be. So take a step back, have a good look at that balance and create what works for you. You've got the options now.
Okay, what about you? Do you actively check out your emails in the middle of the night?
I do. I do. You might get an email from me at 1 a.m. in the morning, but that's my choice, and that works well for me and my family. It doesn't work well for everybody.
Okay. Different horses for different courses. Thanks very much indeed, Nicole Van Hatten. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.
Now, coming up, we've got all the sport, including the Miami Heat set a new NBA record in Indiana. Farah will be here with those details coming up. Also ahead.
I'm Harry Fawcett reporting from Malaysia's Bakun Dam. Decades and billions of dollars in the making, but critics question who's going to use all the power that this water produces.